Hello, this is Winnie Dow, and today I would like to talk to you all about yoga and Christianism, and also tell you a story about something that happened to me when I was in middle school. I think eighth or ninth grade. Um, First of all, um, during my life, I have experimented with yoga. I was a teenager when I did that, um, but then in my during my adulthood, there was a moment in which I practiced yoga again, ignoring the consequences or the magnitude of my actions. But let me begin with what happened when I was younger. When I was younger, yoga was a trend. Everyone was talking about it. Um, we were mostly talking about meditation. I used to practice Taekwondo. So everything that was Asian, exotic, was kind of attractive to me at that moment. So I had a friend named Frances and my sister. We met one time and we were just talking about yoga and how great it was to meditate, open the chakras, and be at peace with oneself and in all of those things. So we went to a room, to my sister's and my room, and we sat on the floor and we started clearing out our minds and just leaving our minds blank and thinking about nothing at all. We were sitting on the floor. My friend Frances was below a window and my sister was next to me. Now, I have to explain that I was born and raised in Puerto Rico, and the houses there are made of concrete. At that moment, windows were usually Miami style, and they were inside a concrete frame. And I'm explaining you this because it's important to this story. So, as we started doing yoga or meditating, I closed my eyes and I saw everything dark, but within that darkness, there was a silhouette. This silhouette was of a man. This man had a cane and a tall hat. He was very well dressed, and in my opinion, he looked similar to the image I had about my grandfather. I never met him, but he was a landowner and for the government of Spain. And the way they used to dress in that time is very similar to how the silhouette looked like. Um, I saw the silhouette and I turned to my sister without opening my eyes and I tell her, I'm seeing this silhouette next to you and it looks like this. And as I'm saying that, the silhouette starts moving towards the window. So I tell them, oh, the silhouette is now moving towards the window. Um, it's going close to Frances. And at that moment, the window started shaking. It is because of the way the houses are built, it is impossible for a window to shake. It is even impossible for a window to shake, even if we are there in an earthquake. And I know that because I was there during an earthquake. It was a 7 point something magnitude, and not the Miami windows didn't move at all. The ones made of glass exploded, but those Miami windows didn't move at all. So going back to that moment in my life, that window shaked. We ran out of the bedroom. My father, because he heard us screaming, he was in the hallway waiting for us, and he was like ready to go in and fight whoever had gotten in the house. And when I explained to him we were doing yoga and this happened, At that moment, he wasn't a religious man. He was raised by a pagan woman who practiced Celtic beliefs. And he said to me, don't you dare play with those things. You don't know what you open yourself to when you meditate that way. So at that moment, I stopped meditating. Like I was so scared, I didn't really care for it. I didn't really wanted to try again. But time passed. I grew up as a Roman Catholic. Time passed. I never experimented with that again. But then, because I was doing taekwondo and swimming, I injured my legs, my knees. And something that really made me feel better was yoga. But I wasn't doing the meditation part, I was only doing the prostration part. And it really made my body felt better. It eased my pain a lot. But as I read more about religions and I learned more about orthodoxy, I learned that yoga was not allowed in orthodoxy and actually in other religions too. Roman Catholicism doesn't allow yoga. I didn't know this at that moment, but it is not something that is allowed there either. Um, Now, why Christian religions or most Christian religions forbid yoga? It seems stupid because it's just an exercise, right? Well, no, it's not. And I'm going to explain it the way that a priest, Father Nectarios, explained it to me. When you meditate, you become like a radio. You open a signal to anything. So suddenly you become a receptor, but you cannot control what is coming in. And that's the perfect moment for the demon to play with your head, to communicate with you even. When you do prostrations, when you stretch your body doing yoga and all of that, you're actually prostrating to one of the 330 genes or demons known in Hinduism. And as a Christian, that's pretty much against everything we believe in. We bend our knees, we pray, we kneel down only in front of God. So, because of that, it is forbidden. Now, many Christians do it. I think many of them don't know it, or many of them probably have chronic pain like I do, and think that that is the only way. Right now, I've been tested for lupus. So when I say that I have chronic pain, it's like very bad chronic pain. Um, and yoga is something that in the past, it used to be good for me, for my physical body. But I cannot take care of my physical body if I don't pay attention to my soul. I cannot trust in something like yoga if my spiritual father is telling me do not do it. And I have asked, actually, because we have moved a lot, I have been to 3 or 4 different parishes under ACROD, Greek Orthodoxy, and now under ROCOR. And I have always asked the same question to each one of the priests I've been under. I've asked them, can I practice yoga because that helps me? Probably hoping that they'll say yes, but they always say no, you can't. Father Nectarios even explained it to me this way. When you are praying and you're in front of an icon, you're not supposed to meditate or imagine things. You're not supposed to imagine that you're talking to Jesus or anything like that, because the devil can use that to play with your mind. So that the icon kind of helps you be focused on that prayer. So when you When you meditate, when you open your mind to that, you're risking so much. Take, for example, yogis. They walk on fire. They can pierce their bodies with thick needles and apparently with no pain. They can swallow swords. They can swallow fire. And they seem to feel no pain at all. They levitate sometimes. Um, and all of these seem to be gifts. Now, these gifts come from those genes that are trying to feed their pride. Remember, when you do yoga, you try to achieve inner peace, but you try to achieve inner peace by yourself. You're not trying to achieve inner peace through God, through Jesus. You are just doing it on yourself. So when you think you have achieved some inner peace, you are very, very proud of yourself. When you try and try and try to levitate and suddenly you do it, you feel very proud that you finally achieved that. In orthodoxy, the main thing about working with yourself is about humbling yourself, not only in front of God, but also in front of your neighbor, in front of your brothers and sisters. So you cannot feed your pride, you cannot cultivate your pride and then be a Christian at the same time. I mean, pride is something that all of us fight with. Um, I think in my case, I fight with it very, very badly. That's one of my bigger sins, and is actually the root of many other sins. So if I practice something like yoga, I would be feeding that pride. That's what I would be doing. When you achieve a prostration, like a hard one, then you feel like, oh yes, I did it. And I mean, it's good to feel good about what you can accomplish. But when you seek the strength in doing those things within yourself only and not through God, then it's something bad, because it's something that is keeping you from God. It's something that is putting a distance between you and your Father. So that's what yoga does. Yoga is about you only. And yes, because the devil can show himself as an angel of light, it makes you feel so peaceful. It makes you feel so distressed from a day, from your day at work, from whatever problems or situations you have in your house with your family, or even your health problems. When you do yoga, you feel like you are in such a good place, but you don't have God. So that happiness, that peace is not forever. That is going to last only so long, and then you're going to feel more empty. So yogis who have these gifts may seem like they have achieved something that you may want or I may want, but really you don't want that. You don't want anything that puts a distance between you and God. If you have a health condition, or if you really want to do some type of exercise that um, helps you concentrate better, or helps you be at peace with whatever situation you're going through, um, you can pray, Lord have mercy, or the long way, which is Lord Jesus Christ, have mercy on me, a sinner. Or even better, talk to your spiritual father and let him know how you're feeling, and they may guide you in your prayer rule or what you can do. Right now, my spiritual father and I are trying to find a way that I can do some type of exercise and find some physical comfort. But yoga, it's not an option. And I'm happy that my spiritual father has taken the time to tell me, no, you're not going to do that. And if you do that, you're disobeying me. Um, Because, spiritual fathers are not your boss, but they are someone who is taking responsibility for your salvation. He's going to have to stand in front of God and tell him what he did, or how he failed on guiding you back to him. So that's why they take it so seriously. And that's why you should also take it very seriously when they talk to you and advise you one way or the other, even if it's not the way you would like them to answer. So yoga is not good. Now, another thing that yoga taught me is that I had many worries, especially about my health. I had many worries. But when you worry, you are only counting on yourself, which is what yoga teaches. But when you're a Christian, when you are an Orthodox Christian, in my case, you cannot worry because you know God is in control. And of course, I mean, when I see blood tests that don't come out the way I want, I worry at that moment, but then I feel, okay, God is not going to put me through something that I cannot handle, not with my own strength, but through Him. So if He's guiding me through this path, is because He has a plan. So if I trust Him, I cannot worry. Because worrying would be a sin, would be thinking that He's not in control, that for some reason, at some second, at some moment in my life, He's not in control. So because of that, I don't need yoga. All I need is God. All I need is to pray and to let the people that He has put in my life guide me. And that is a type of humbleness, because you think, in my case, yoga is reachable. It's something I can just stop this video and start doing, and it will make me feel better physically. But it takes a bit of more thinking. It takes a longer thinking process to get to the conclusion that no, I won't do it because it's not something that will help me in the long run. It's not something that I want to do. I don't want to be in contact with whatever jinns or demons are on that side. I don't want to be a radio open to whatever the devil wants to tell me, or whatever suggestion he wants to put in my mind. I need something, I go through God, and I obtain it through Him. If He doesn't give it to me, it's because it's better for me not to have it. So that's all I need to think. And that takes a lot of work to think that way. But when I put myself with that, when I start thinking that way, I know that I am humbling myself in front of God. And that's what's going to help me behave like a real Christian. Now, read the Bible. I'm just reading my notes. Read the Bible, read many different books that draw you closer to God, but do not rely in yoga. It's very sad when I see a Christian doing yoga, because I know that most Christians that do yoga, they don't really know the dangers behind it. I know they're not doing it because they want to disrespect God. With the new age religions and all of that, they feel it's a trend, and because they're not praying, they think that they're doing good. But remember, when you do yoga, there are mantras that are actually types of prayers. I have a rule of thumb, and it's, I don't pray something that I cannot understand. And I'm saying this from an experienced point of view. As an Eastern Orthodox, I have heard a lot of prayers in Russian, in Greek, in Slavonic, and in Romanian, and so many other beautiful languages. But I don't pray them if I don't know what they mean. Because that repetition is not necessary. What I say it. Actually, when I pray, I actually pray mostly in Spanish because that's my mother tongue. But I never put myself in a situation where I have to say something that I don't understand. Even for Pascha, where we say, for example, Christos anesti, alithos anesti, which means Christ has risen, indeed he's risen. Before I got to my first Pascha a couple of years ago, I researched every single word because I didn't want to say something that I didn't understand. And we have to be like that. We have to be, I think, is wise as serpents. We have to research. I mean, Asian culture is beautiful, but do not do something. For example, do not follow a part of their religion when you know that most of their religions are pagans. I mean, are pagan. My grandmother was a pagan woman. Then she became Christian, but at some point she was a pagan woman. She, her background was pagan, so I think that's the only logical thing for her to do at some moment, at some time during her life. Um, but I don't just go and follow whatever religion she had just because it's my background. No, you can't do that. You have to think, you have to be wise, you have to know what you're doing. When you prostrate, you're not doing like downward dog position, you're prostrating actually to some demon. And God, I know you don't want to do that, so be smart. um Learn about this, research about this. Don't just take my word for it. Of course, anyone can post anything on the internet. So let this video help you, um, or guide you to your next step, which should be researching by yourself, asking your spiritual father. But don't start yoga, or don't continue to do yoga until you really know what you're doing. So thank you for watching. Thank you for watching. If you like, sorry about that. My daughter is playing with the dogs and we're going crazy. Okay, if you liked it, please like this video. And if you have any questions, please leave your comments or questions down below and I will answer as soon as I can. Thanks. God bless.